The Maniacs. How are ya? It's the weekend, and it is episode 29.
Fucking every week.
I'm
This
sure
episode of Maidencast.
I've got to look it up now. No, it's 29. I'm sure it's 29. Or it could be 30. Oh, fuck.
It's 29, I think.
Yeah. And we are doing Blaze Bailey's second album. It's Blaze. It's not Blaze Bailey yet.
Not yet.
Second album. The 10th Dimension. This might sound a lot better now I've repositioned it, I must admit. Really cool artwork, and we'll get into there's a bit of a concept on this one. I did touch on that.
I couldn't work it out, but I don't know, because to be fair, boys and girls, this is the first time I've heard the album over this last week, and I've been trying to fucking absorb it like big time, and I couldn't really get the concept.
Well, I think there's a bit of a role. When you have a concept album, if the concept makes sense, it's no good. Because I mean,
so what are you saying about Operation Mindcrime then, Joe?
Do you know what Operation Mindcrime's really about? I ain't got a clue.
Oh, of course
really?
It's a revolutionary movement, isn't it? It's easy. Story tells itself. Surprised they made a film out of it.
So he's an assassin that wakes up, but he's got not insomnia, amnesia.
Yeah, he remembers he's in a mental home, and he's been zapped for drugs. Now he starts to remember the story.
Yeah, so
he was a disillusioned fucking kid, sick to death of what was going on, and he got in touch with other like-minded people. Dr. X, the man with the cure, and he was just basically got.
Is it him that kills the love interest as well? He kills her without realising he's done it, sort of thing, or is it Mr. X that killed her?
I think he does it. I'll have to fucking hell. I've only heard the album about a gajillion times.
Exactly, you don't know.
But
it kind of makes sense, but it's complete bonbons. Seventh son of a seventh son. That's another one.
Yeah, but that was an abandoned concept anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or a half-assed concept.
Think of them now. But it's not so much a concept; it's more of a theme. Anyway.
Right.
I'll be reading about it anyway as we go on. But let's first examine that artwork. I think that's pretty cool. So You've got Earth. I'm assuming it's Earth. Could be any planet really, but no, it's Earth. Sort of approaching a black hole or the 10th dimension. But it's kind of an eye.
Oh yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
And one good thing with Blaze as well, you do get your money's worth of Blaze. You always have done, and he always does. He puts pretty extensive liner notes in his albums. You normally get them with reissues, but no, you've always had them up front with Blaze. He always puts like a little essay explaining what was going on, or a little journal about how it was recorded and how the songs were written and all the rest of it. With these new things that he does on his website, so you can pre-order the album, and they normally do it in different packages and different it's like standard edition, and then it goes like bronze, silver, gold, and the more money you spend the more you get. But it's not what he normally does is send you a book, so it all depends how deep you want to go with it. There is a concept and thing here. I don't know how in depth you want to go really, but basically he was reading some articles about how physics and dreams can be linked, and psychology and the paranormal can, and that's
fucking deep.
And then it leaks into quantum physics and Einstein. I'm probably better off just reading it. Quantum physics and Nobel Prize winner Wolfgang Pauli had an interest in these views. Einstein believed quantum theory was incomplete and had developed the EPR paradox to show this. Whilst reading about relativistic cosmology and quantum theory, I started to find an ESP cropping up. And some scientists are looking to the link between quantum physics and paranormal phenomena. Most of these ideas related with superstring theory and the idea that classical theory, like Einstein's theory of general relativity and quantum theory, only makes sense together if there are at least 10 dimensions, and the idea that inspired the story, which is based this album. The 10 dimensions may be other realities that exist at different frequencies. Professor Christopher Blaine embarked on a journey to find the 10th dimension and uncovers the true meaning. I think Christopher Blaine, I don't know if he's a real scientist or if he's a character in this.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so where was I? Embarked on a thing to his own personal journey and realizations that my lyrics express. In the beginning, Blaine was concerned that many of the greatest scientific discoveries are turned into weapons. In Kill and Destroy, he starts to sense the force of nature and sees visions of truth used for murder and war, and he thinks that some governments just kill and destroy to keep the status quo and retain power. He also determines to make sure that the discovery of the 10th dimensions benefits mankind and doesn't fall into the hands of those who would betray the trust of all humanity. A couple of songs are closely related musically and lyrically. This is intentional and expresses the memories and state of mind Professor Blaine may have experienced during his research. I researched quantum physics, Einstein's theory, time travel, and superstring theory for background and found it all very intense. I'm fucking finding this very intense.
Fucking hell.
And most of the band are now convinced I am insane. Whenever I got, and then it just says a few notes at the end. But he's saying that he worked on it and trying to come up with a flavour of the man, and then I'm guessing that it was a work of a real man that he's based it on. But he's done this on this new album as well. He talks about Einstein and everything, and his thought process. In some places, it's confusing, but so is life. See you out there, plays Paley.
And thank you, Mr. Sheldon Denby.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I've got the original version. This is like a special edition. You got bonus tracks on this. It's got a second CD. You got the Launch Live, Future Real Live, Tough as Steel, Evolution, and Living Someone Else's Life, which I think is a exclusive song.
Track,
yeah. And it's been reissued recently by Blaze on his own shop on vinyl for the first time. And I think the idea was he was meant to be playing the album. I don't know if he was playing the album in full. But there was a tour celebrating the anniversary.
Yeah.
Normally they spell it out on a poster, playing it in full. There's no doubt about it. But whether he did or not, I don't know. It would have been done by now. But thanks to COVID, it all got scrapped. But he did do Silicon Messiah in full, but it was just a one-off at a festival. So
gutted about that. I would love to have seen that.
I just bought this little light, by the way. I want to see if it makes any difference. No, not really. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, that was a bit too much though.
Being interrogated
like a ghost. So so let's get into it. Same lineup as last time. It pretty much the winning formula.
Same everything, wasn't it? Obviously Andy Sneap again as well. And I don't know if he did the third album or not. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. He did the live album.
Yeah, live album's really good as well. Really good set. Good renditions of Maiden songs.
It's a mixture of everything, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, bit of even drops of Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
This is my protein shake. My Irish protein shake.
Cherryade. It's the way
forward. It's full of iron. My nan, when she was pregnant with my dad, could not walk past a pub and have a pint of Guinness. And if you knew my nan, you would realise how funny that actually was. Because my nan was a bit like the old lady in Keeping Up Appearances. The old lady from Keeping Up Appearances with a mix of the old lady from Catherine Tate.
Fucking hell, there's a mixture.
Yeah, posh as fuck one moment, and then common as much.
Common as like the next, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we kind of went through the backgrounds on the first album, and this they kind of just carried on, really.
Yeah, it's
in between it. Looks like he was touring his arse off. Like I say, the same lineup again. Andy Sneap's back behind a desk. So there's not really much to go into background.
I actually didn't think this was produced by Andy Sneap because it didn't sound like it was produced by Andy Sneap. Andy Sneap has a sound.
Had he established that sound?
I suppose it's been nearly 20 years ago. I imagine he's probably developed his sound, but this was like, oh fucking hell, it's not Andy Sneap. But then I checked it out. I was like, oh shit, it is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, could Blaze Bayley afford Andy Sneap now? Is what I mean.
The thing is, Andy Sneap are probably
unless you're Judas, like this is what I'm saying. Unless you're in that top league now, like when you've got Megadeth and Judas Priest on your resume. Yeah, it's not happening, is it? Unless he does it as a favour, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say probably do it because they sort of grew up together, didn't they? Really?
Did they?
Well, no, I mean in terms of.
Oh, in that.
Just as Andy Sneap was cutting his teeth, Blaze Bayley was like, "I need a producer." So.
Yeah, they went to the School of Rock together, didn't you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So I suppose we might as well just get straight into the songs, really, because again we've kind of covered the background.
Yeah.
I got a poxy little intro. Doesn't really matter.
Pointless. It's just it doesn't do anything really, does it? It's
no.
Sometimes you get these little minute intros that actually say something, but this is just like, it's a complete waste of a minute.
Yeah. But
which is a shame because it starts the album out for me on the wrong footing. Because when you finally get to track 2, Kill and Destroy, fucking hell.
Yeah, right. So it's funny because there are songs on this. Well, I'll say like Speed of Light is quite Maiden-y, and that's the song that he opens with on the live album. It's still quite a fairly regular set opener. Whilst this one, Kill and Destroy, is quite beefy at the beginning, and it's quite like a nice thick.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's quite nice to set. Again, it just sets him apart.
It does. This should have opened it. Really, this should have been track 1 because you put the first thing on. You're like, right, here we go, new Blaze Bayley. You started out all right on the first one. And you're like, oh, fucking hell. Watching the fucking CD counter tick down or whatever. And it starts you off completely in the wrong place. If you put the CD on, or like fucking input, whatever, and it comes straight into Kill and Destroy, you're like, boom.
Yeah.
About Blaze is back. He's back doing what he was doing on last album. He's honed it. It's a fucking great opening riff, blazing solo, and it just lets us know we're in for a ride.
Yeah.
Chorus that is as catchy as crabs, and it's just fucking. It's a proper metal song, and it's not rewriting the book, but it sets that stage, sets that right. This is where we're going to be for the next 50 minutes, and it's a great way to start. Well, it would have been a great way to start the album. Yeah,
again,
I couldn't get it out of my mind. The chorus, it reminds me of another song.
This song, actually, on its own, reminds me of something. It reminds me of something like Wolfsbane would have done. And also a little bit of The Almighty.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, especially The Almighty. Yeah, I can see that.
I feel the vein.
How The Almighty.
I feel that. You could. Yeah. I could hear Ricky Warwick doing that, doing his own version of it.
When he sung properly.
Yeah, when he sang like.
Yeah, not like Ricky Linnett.
Ricky Linnett became a crooner. That kind of it brings that 90s.
Yeah, it does.
British metal that was sort of not quite metal, but too heavy to be rock, and it was real nice chunk riffs.
Yeah,
and the riffs on this
sort of thing we did really well. Like you say, it was a niche, wasn't it? It was wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was here, and so many bands were doing it, and they're doing it fucking really well.
And this riff's thicker than my wife's gravy, so.
It's a good riff.
She doesn't watch this show, so.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
But she's going to get a message now, isn't she? I know.
Yeah. Someone's going to do it. But no, this is setting the tone early. It's a good way to start it.
Yeah, and it sets things off nicely. It sets a tone, and then nice Sabbathy riff and solo.
Fucking weird. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, you two on the same track? What are we talking about?
No, End Dream.
End Dream. Yeah. See, for me, this is. I didn't say Sabbath. This immediately brought to mind new metal for me. It was like fucking hell. But I don't mean that in a bad way either. It was like
no. I was very modern. It's a modern take.
When Blaze starts singing, it is very Sabbath because he does his inner he channels his inner Ozzy Osbourne on the vocals.
Yeah, the underneath riff, that dun 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 with that woo 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 over the top brings to mind. What's the song called? Zero to Hero from Born Again is what it reminded me of. Funny enough, Cannibal Corpse covered that song.
Oh, right.
And that's from the Born Again album. So that's the one Ian Gillan sang on.
Oh, right, yeah.
The one when he joined the band when he was drunk. And his manager rang him up and said, if you're going to join a band and tell the press, at least ring me first. And he was like, what am I about? It's like, it's all in like the NME and everything that you've joined Black Sabbath. He's like, oh shit. And it turned out he went to the pub with Tony Iommi. They got drunk and he ended up joining them. But they made a great album. It is for all its faults, I think it's a really good album, really underrated. And like Ian Gillan said, he went, I had a lovely year in Sabbath. He went, it was like a holiday. Because at the end of it, I had to go do another solo album and then went back to I had this fun year in the middle of it all with Sabbath. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. End Dream.
Yeah. I mean, so this is like I say, completely different vibe. Loving the start of it, and the pre-chorus is so good. The vocal line.
Yes.
If I knew then what I know now, the way Blaze channels that is really good. And he's really starting to. It's almost like he feels at home now. He's not trying to stretch. He doesn't feel like he's got to conform. He's like, no, this is me, and I can try little bits here, little bits there, and I won't have to take it too far.
Yeah.
But it's just enough to be different, and it works.
It's probably getting darker now, isn't it? I'm starting to look a bit.
Yeah, you put that light on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think he's got a really good chemistry with this band. The chemistry, amongst all each other, and they just feel really comfortable on this album, and I think they've just built on the foundation that was Silicon Messiah.
They did. It's a natural progression. It's nothing earth shattering, but it's just but it's not more of the same either. It's gone up a little bit. Yeah.
So it's expanded and evolved.
Yes, and the chorus riff of this song is just.
What about that little breakdown in the middle as well? That dun 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 dun.
Yeah, and you got that. Then it goes back. Then you got the solos, just like geezers just shearing the fretboard off, and you got the melodic riff, and then it goes back to the chorus, and it works so well.
I'm not sure which one it is. I have to get to it, but there was one I made a mental note. It was like, Scott Gorham's on the phone, and he wants his guitar back. Yeah, there's like a lead, like a solo-y bit, but it's very Lizzy. Yeah. I can't remember what song it was, but we'll come to that when we get to it. But yeah, it's just familiar enough and just different enough so far, isn't it?
It is,
set it apart.
And the fact that normally 5-minute tracks, they're weird. They either fly by or they sound like they're 15 minutes long because they're just dragging. 5 minutes is a weird song length. You've got to be got to be confident in your songwriting ability to go 5 minutes. I think anyone can churn out a 3-minute, and anyone can churn out a 9-minute because they can just fucking extend the riff out or whatever, or do like a fucking Led Zeppelin and make a load of noise in the middle of a fucking interlude. But 5 minutes of solid song is difficult to do, and this absolutely flies by.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on.
Like honey, it's so good.
Yeah, it has that slow creep as well, doesn't it? And then when it does, it builds up, and when it gets to where it's going, it pays off, and then it goes up another level,
Yeah.
You got that nice little chunky bit in the middle as well, and then it just builds up again. And a great great pre-chorus as well as a great chorus as well on this.
Yeah. No, I love the pre-chorus, and the riff in the main chorus is so good.
Mm.
No, this is a banging song, and the album started out well. Because by this time on Silicon Messiah, for me, track 2, sort of Evolution, it dropped off the radar. It was a completely wrong song to follow up Silicon Messiah, to follow up Ghost in the Machine. But this he's almost like he's learned his lesson, because this raises the bar from the opening track, and it's going well so far.
Right, so then we get to the title track.
Yeah,
and this one,
I love the way this starts. With the old toms and the proper fucking, you know, it's fucking great, like percussive, really good. And then,
well, again, you're a big fan of Jeff Singer's work as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am. He's one of those drummers that knows what to do and when not to play.
Yeah, and again,
he's proper out of Vinnie Paul school. He'll play a simple beat, just let the riff breathe. But when he has to do something intricate, he's fucking all over it. Yeah. And you know, he's a great drummer. And I wish I could meet the guy, actually, because he really is an underrated player.
Yeah, and the guy's CV speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, is he in Paradise Lost now?
I think he is, yeah. Or he was definitely in them for a long time. No, he's in
My Dying Bride now.
That's it, yes.
Was in Paradise Lost.
Yeah. So he's done the who's who of British metal, really.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, the bands that never quite cracked the top echelon. He's been, you know, he's done everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride, again, we discussed this on the last episode. They're not... Neither band I'm not really into. Well, when I say I'm not into them, it means I don't own everything they've done.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I don't mind a bit of Paradise Lost now and then. My Dying Bride, I do need to investigate. I have shamefully, it's just a train that left without me, and I'm not sure where to jump on board. But they're both very important in the British metal, you know, canon. So, but 10th Dimension. Again, I think. Again, it starts off quite nice and chunky. Again, there's some really good grooves on this album.
Proper metal riff.
But then it goes into a nice like a nice little Metallica even.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's simple, but going back to the drummer again, it's double kick drums. It's nothing too elaborate. It's just nice to keep the song moving.
Do you mean with the "Here I am, standing in the darkness"?
No, I'm on about just the intro when you playing the main riff before you kick into the verse, which then changes it up completely. Just with the snare and the whispered vocal. It's like, fucking, where'd that come from, sort of thing, you know?
But even during that bit I just sung, he's got that underneath.
That's the chorus riff, isn't it? And it's brilliant because he layers up the vocals off it, and it again, this is a person who's happy in his surroundings. He's happy where he is, and it shows. Yeah, and,
I think,
you know, this song just flows.
Yeah, and you've got that nice little after the first chorus, you've got that nice little melodic bit. So you got that
clean interlude, yes,
and even got a bit of vocal harmonics. That
oh yeah, with the solo and the melodic leads bit. Fucking hell, you know, it's great. But no, this is a fucking, as far as title tracks go, this is up there.
Yes,
really good.
A regular in the live set to this day as well.
I'd be shocked if it weren't, because it is a good song, a fucking great song.
Out towards the end as well. Again, Blaze does love a whoa-oh.
Oh, he does.
He's up there with Bon Jovi with the whoa-ohs, and
I think that's he almost forced him into Virtual 11.
Yeah,
he didn't need to be there, but on his own stuff, he's and Look for the Truth, that worked as well.
Yeah, but they're a handy thing for the live show, because. You know, you've seen yourself. He does get the crowd involved. He does get people going, and he knows how to. And once you've got, you know, fucking hell, Freddie Mercury. It was simplest trick in the book, wasn't it?
10 minutes later.
But it's an easy little trick to do in the live show, and and it just works. It gets the crowd going, so therefore it gets the band going, and then you feed off the band, and it's simple and effective, and it don't do no harm either, does it?
No.
So moving on now to Nothing Will Stop Me.
But this, for me, this is where it sort of falls off the level a bit. It's the first stumble. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some great work on this. I mean, your clean intro, which changes it up. So it's the first time we've had it. It's almost sort of a flamenco-esque Spanish type guitar playing there. Not quite, but it's on there. And you got some nice bass work. Bass players showing his worth, because he's sort of filling in the gaps. Not overplaying, but just doing enough to be noticed and filling it so it flows nicely. But the rest of the song don't really follow on from that, and it sort of stumbles really.
You feel it sort of has a nice sort of build up like the other songs do, but what it doesn't go anywhere with it doesn't quite.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't pay off the promise, because it is a good clean intro. But yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. But 4 songs in, 5 tracks, and you first stumble, and it's not to say that it's shit. It's just a stumble. It's not up to the level of the 3 that came before it. Yeah,
it's. I think it serves well as a nice album track. It kind of just carries things on nicely, but nothing more, nothing less. It's not one we're going to skip to. Right, so Leap of Faith. This one, I think this is the shortest one so far, isn't it?
Yeah, this is proper fast paced. He's learning, to mix it up after he's probably listened to criticisms of the X Factor. The too samey, not enough variation. So he's definitely mixing it up. Each song has got a different sort of attitude and all the rest of it. But it's
I think
this
not
song very good for me.
I think this song is a better live song. I think this is a better song to watch than it is to listen to.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he got a catchy chorus which will go down well live.
Yeah, he's got a catchy chorus. It's got a positive chorus as well. Yes. Take a leap of faith. Yeah. Again, I think if Blaze loses his singing voice tomorrow, he could make a living as a motivational speaker. Yeah, and you can just tell he's going to give you this big prep talk.
He's the man who's been at the very top of the mountain, hasn't he? He's earned
the
it.
Mountain. He's got thrown right down at the bottom. Yeah,
down at the bottom, and he's raised himself up again, and he's been kicked while he's fucking on his way back up, and now he's fucking slowly coming up again. He's he's earned what he's got. Can't ever take that away from the geezer.
Yeah, exactly. And that. So it's a nice fast song, sort of like a nice punk drum. But
yeah, he's proper upbeat.
Like. I wouldn't go so far as to say it was a thrash song, but it's got that upbeat tempo. It's got some blazing little solos in the middle as well, and it was just all the way through it. Nice, positive, upbeat, uplifting chorus.
Yeah,
there's a load of punk going and a load of jumping around. Chorus, I think I'm confident this is a song better to watch than it is to listen to. And some songs are like that. Some songs. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, but fucking Metal Gods by Judas Priest. don't float my boat at all. But when it's live, it's just
because it takes on a world of its own, like life of its own, doesn't it? So.
And some songs are like that. They just work better in the live setting. Then that it doesn't necessarily, I think we can think of plenty of songs like that, really.
Yeah.
So so we've got The Truth Revealed, which is basically an intro to Meant to Be.
Yeah, and it's weird the way, for me, it's weird the way I've done it, because The Truth Revealed, there's a song like 1 minute and 43 or whatever it is. It's a nice acoustic chill out. Got a good bluesy lead, and then when the drums kick in, it sounds like for me anyway, sounds like the solo section from Prodigal Son.
Yeah.
And the drums, they sort of come in on the toms, all staggered, and it sounds like that bit in Prodigal Son where the old solo kicks in.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best thing on Killers. But it seems like this is their...
yeah.
But, and this sounds really good.
I will not buy it.
Yeah. You bit with your eye roll. But for me, this would have worked better if it was part of Meant to Be.
Yeah,
if they made Meant to Be sort of 8 minutes, this would work really well. Not that it doesn't work now, but it's just a bit of a weird one.
And the thing is, it's not as if like how do we put it? Right, Suicide Note Part 1 and Part 2. Suicide 1 is the melodic, the thing, you know, acoustic guitars, the build up, the thing. Then we got a nice like at the end, and then Part 2, you know. And you can just imagine if it was like the truth is revealed, and then you know, you can imagine if it like kicked in some fast riff, you go, right, I get it. Yeah. I want to skip the melodic intro and get straight into the meat. You could see why it was separated, but no, the acoustic stuff goes on for like another minute.
It does, yeah, because like I say, Meant to Be starts off.
Yeah, it just
starts off with more of it. It's probably one of Blaze's best vocals as well. I think the start of this song when he's singing it. And if you listen to it with headphones like I was doing last night, you've got almost like a medieval orchestral arrangement going on.
Yes,
it's almost like that Thomas, the guitarist, the fucking thing he's with. It's almost like he's had a say. You know the guy, mate, don't you? Because if you listen to it, it's very subtle. It's not too overpowered, but it's there. You know, almost imagine yourself at court, like sort of thing, in the King's Court sort of thing, listening to the band and the musicians in the corner.
Yeah.
And it does complement it really well. The solo is really good, but it sort of comes in a bit too heavy. You know, they had this nice melodic, and it doesn't flow into it. It's just like, oh shit, I've got to put the distortion pedal on now. It doesn't flow into the solo. It's like, right, that's that bit. Right, solo time, and it doesn't naturally flow as well as good as the solo is. But then when the song finds its feet again, and then they make the choruses, they make them heavy and they work. But I think it's probably a minute too long because you have the sort of the chanting at the end, which sort of ends the song. And
but again, you've got you got this. I think just thinking of Blaze as a band on its own and trying to separate the Iron Maiden and everything. And so all we've got to go on is Silicon Messiah. I think the track Meant to Be is quite an achievement because they're actually throwing quite a lot out there.
Oh yeah.
So you've got like
they've only been together a couple of years. It's
like I would have been, the fact that it's got this, it's basically just an acoustic bass song. It kicks in, but then in that bit in the middle as well, you've got that nice harmonized vocals, like sort of choir vocals.
Yeah.
Then you've got a female vocalist doing some operatic vocals in there as well, and just that I don't know. Can I hear a flute in there in the background somewhere? There's all sorts going on.
It is a weird one. It's not just orchestral. It's
and then the sort of big solo kicks in afterwards. But all going on, and then and then. I don't know. I just think that wouldn't have been easy to write. That would have been quite a bit of a bastard to arrange and record and all the rest of it. And
a bit of a bastard to actually come up with, to have the balls to be able to go, right, I'm going to put this down on tape.
Yeah, I mean,
shows that he's comfortable in his own skin.
Again, the fact that the amount of fucking jip that Blaze got over the years from the press, and the amount of bands that, if a band that was bigger than Blaze had done this, they'd want to be saying what fucking geniuses they were.
Yeah.
And I think this is quite an ambitious piece of music, actually.
Yeah,
and whether it
doesn't
or not, I'm not sure. But
it's
10 out of 10 for trying is what I'm saying. And they haven't quite mastered it, but they haven't completely ballsed it up either.
No, of course not.
And when you think about the fucking subject matter, transcending dimension. You can imagine some sort of floating around in the cosmos of the, I don't know. There's a lot of old Blazes fucking going off on his nut on this one. It's like, but if you sat there and said, I took a load of mushrooms and wrote about my trip, they'd all be going,
exactly. But no, because he's done some bit of scientific research and
But no, I think this is quite an I think
he's ambitious.
A bold move on this on this track, and fair play to him on this one. And The best is actually yet to come on this album, in my eyes. It's the hits, so to speak, are normally up front on an album, but I think he keeps a few tricks up his sleeve towards the end. But we'll get to that when we come to it. So, The Land of the Blind.
Land of the Blind comes in, boom, doesn't it? Like headshot after the nice sort of
exactly.
So meets.
Again, we've got a full meaty album on this as well. You know, this is. Sorry, I just flashed out. I think there's a bus going past. Yeah, I think overall this album is quite varied. It goes through some peaks and valleys. It's definitely this is a big ambitious album. You know, and I think it certainly gives it certainly goes toe to toe with Maiden. I mean, it's in terms of ambition.
Oh yeah, no, you can tell that him. If he hadn't joined Maiden, he's not writing shit like this. If he just decides to leave Wolfbane and do his own stuff, this is hanging around with Steve Harris. Yeah, this is hanging around with Yannick Gers. This is, you know, he's opened his mind to different ways of writing. And he's
going down the paths that Maiden went down with, you know, with Number of the Beast and Power Slave, and then on to Seventh Son. There was, as we established, there's certain times when they have attempted certain things and haven't quite pulled it off. But the next album, it's now they've done it, you know. And
well, we did it recently. I mean, with Don't Look to the Eyes of a Stranger, you can tell what we wanted to do there with a sort of pseudo orchestral mixing in with the guitars. Didn't quite work. But then fucking Blood Brothers, boom, that's a bullseye. Yeah, and they're all. It's trial and error on Don't Look to the Eyes of a Stranger that led to Blood Brothers. Yeah. So, yeah, he's like you say, they do that. And Blaze is learning. He's got that in him now. He's And
I think on, like, Number of the Beast, when they did a song like, you know, Hello, Be Thy Name, I think they went, how did we do that then? And they sort of did it, but didn't quite know. They tried to repeat. It was like... Yeah, but how did we do it? You know,
that's why To Tame a Land wasn't.
And then To Tame a Land, it was like, they tried. Yeah, and it's just like, no, it's kind of like it's the best simple is in Peter Pan. You remember the one with Robin Williams? Is Peter Pan grown up?
Hook.
And he's learning to fly again. Yeah. As soon as he realizes he's flying, he just drops.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It has to sort of come as a conscience thing, you know. And I think I've gone off on one, but I think I know.
But no, you make, you know, the point you're making, you can see it, yeah.
So, moving on then. So we got The Land of the Blind. We got that, again, nice orchestral, mainly acoustic bass. It was like quite an ambitious piece of music. But then this one just goes bang, hits you in the gut.
Metal, you know, back to it. And
we're back to the metal. Yeah.
Heavy, slow-paced riff. It's a nice, crunchy verse. Melodic pre-chorus, which he does really well. He's good at writing pre-choruses on this. Another catchy chorus that flows well. And after the, you know, track 7 and 8, which are, let's face it,
isn't it? You know, it's got that 90s bluesy rock verging on metal, but not quite filled by that. The Land of the Blind. Yeah. I mean, again, I think Metallica would have been at me to have this on one of their albums.
Yeah, this would have been on Load or Reload. It's called Reload because that was like the heavier of the two. But no, this would have fitted in well with, you know, that era Metallica.
What was a good band? I'm just trying to think, like a good band, but a good album, a good 90s, not quite metal, but the heaviest thing of rock of
Skid Row.
What, Subhuman Race or?
Yeah, that sort of runs the gambit.
That had a bit of a slow, groovy.
They had a bit of everything on it. That because obviously the first album they did was cock rock. Second album they went metal because they was hanging around with Pantera and all that. And Subhuman Race was a.
Do you know what?
Really underrated album, actually. That is.
Yeah, you know who got me? Who said to me, "No, Subhuman Race, check it out." And I went, "Right, because you said it, done."
Yeah.
And I went and ordered it. It was Chris Perrin.
Oh, right.
Chris Perrin's a big fan of Subhuman Race. Yeah.
No, I you know, that is. Didn't know anyone else fucking liked it because I love it. There's some really, really great tracks on there, and it always gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's tragic because it is a fucking great album.
That's why.
You are?
Sebastian Bach shits on that album as well.
Oh, was he? No,
yeah. He can be a div at times anyway, so don't worry. Hey, that last Skid Row album I did fucking sucked. Yeah. That was more Beavis than
it was, yeah,
Sebastian.
but it sound, get the point.
So, right. So have we covered Land of the Blind?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, I mean, it's just a nice, short, to the point bit of metal. It's like, come back. We've sent you on a journey before. Now come back. And it's there, and it does what it needs to do. It cleanses the palate of the histrionics, for lack of a better word, of that last song, and brings us back to where we are, which is Blaze fucking rocking out.
Yeah, and a nice slow groover as well as another one. Right, now we're getting into.
I think we're going to differ on opinions. Yeah? I think we're going to differ on opinions over these next three after what you said earlier. Because I'm starting to lose concentration with it now. It's for me, it has been front loaded. Where you said the total opposite.
I think is a very underrated song, and I think this is one of Blaze's. He hasn't done this often, but I just really like the chorus on this. I like that opening riff. That
is the best bit of the song.
And then it's got like a nice little mid-pace groove. I think like the it's sort of like in between the choruses that take my life, but then when it just goes into that, and then he just soars over the top of that still ain't time, and I just like the vocal effect he has as well. He just kind of has that soaring thing over it, and I just think it's a really cool
for me that doesn't quite stick the land in that bit of vocal, but I can see what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
but the riff under it is pretty good. But it's, for me, it's just too. It's the end of album track, it just doesn't really.
Well, he would go on to do an acoustic album later on, and that album actually opens with an acoustic version of Stealing Time.
All right.
And I think it'll give you a bit of a. I appreciate this song more after hearing the acoustic one, because it was like. I'll be honest with you. I actually, when I first heard that acoustic album, I thought it was a new song because it was a mixture of new songs and re-recorded,
like Seven Dust with bonfires and
exactly. So
bonfires, or whatever it's called.
Classics done in an acoustic way, but we're going to stick a few new tracks in just to see how we can write with an acoustic guitar, really. And I thought "Stealing Time" was one of the new songs, and it wasn't later on when I went, oh, fucking hell, this is Stealing Time, So, and he does the chorus slightly different as well. So, but I like this song. I think it's good.
So it's nothing. It's not the worst. Not the worst bit of filler ever.
But it is filler.
Quest for Fire. But ain't there. But it is, for me. It is filler. Yeah. A couple of good ideas, but not really carried out.
All right, well, next up is Speed of Light. I think this is a fantastic song. I love that. I mean, it's very Maiden. Let's say.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the intro so much, but when the verse kicks in with a gallop, that's full on, mate.
Gallopy bass, the little twin lead, that great vocals, great vocal pattern. It carries the song nicely, and then it builds up nicely into a fantastic chorus. The time flashing before your eyes, everything changes at the speed of light.
It's the high vocal for me. It's sort of he's tried it on the last one, and he's doing it here as well. And don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as Paul Di'Anno trying it. But
I can tell you as well, this song is awesome live. The live album,
so I might appreciate it a bit more.
This lineup did, so you got this next as live as it gets. this song opens that album. And he doesn't always open with it, but he does open with it regularly, shall we say. And it's just great. Like at the Underworld, you know, band come out, that and during that bit, he's there, he goes, "Is this London?" I said, "Is this London?" You know,
just in it as he does.
And then just that when it kicks in as well, and then he's kind of does that whole points to that side of the crowd. And goes,
yeah.
And then when he, you know, dun 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 dun, and then bang, he starts singing the verse. It's just awesome. And then when it comes to that chorus, the crowd just with him, you know. Yeah. He does the old time flashing before your eyes. Everything changes at the speed of light. And then second bit, that time, he just holds the mic out and the crowd just goes, so it's another song that just works like a charm live.
No,
and if he's not opens for it, it is chucked in at the end. And again, it's another one of them ones that what he'll normally do as well, if he does like some sort of epic or some sort of ballad, that'll be the one that leads in afterwards. Just like right, time to liven up again now.
Yeah.
But the closer is a bit of a.
It's Blaze Sabbath, isn't it?
Blaze Sabbath.
It is proper Sabbath, mate. You know,
I'd pay good money to watch Blaze Bayley do an evening of Black Sabbath songs. I reckon.
Yeah, but no, this is. I mean, it's that sort of riff, isn't it? It's so simple, but I think it's effective.
Nick Woods as well, isn't he? He's a brummy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, this is. You know, I think it goes on a bit too long.
Yeah.
But But it is. It's simple, just effective. It's like. Not quite as heavy as, but how Down ended Nola with Bury Me in Smoke. It's just a simple, crushingly heavy, and just a mid-pace fucking banger. And you know, it's
that
probably
quite a Sabbathy riff as well. Thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have ended the album with it, but I can't really think of anything else that would have ended the album. So it's probably in the right place.
No, it's probably the right thing. I think it's just a bit shorter. That's all.
Is the bass player's earning his bread under the riff as well, because the riff's quite simple, but he's sort of keeping it going just with these little subtle bits, and more great soloing. I mean, the two guitarists they're fucking smashing it, and it's I like the way it fades out at the end as well. I always love fade outs because you hear bands sort of jamming that they wouldn't normally do, because the fade out they're thinking, fucking how much longer we got to go? Oh, let's do something, let's try something a bit different, and you actually get to hear that. But no, this is. It's a different song to the rest of the album. Again, you know, I think he's done the set list, the track list well. There's nothing repeats. No one style follows the other sort of thing.
Yeah.
All the heavy ones are all different. Then you got an acoustic bit, and you've got like fast one, and then you're in. But this is like a proper, just a mid-pace burner, and he's done it well. And it closes out a solid album. For me, I don't know your thoughts on the track and that, but
I just think you've with Stealing. I think Stealing Time and Speed of Light was a good little thing. This one's just a bit of a slow, bit of a lull thing, but I agree with what you say. It does sort of wind down nicely. It's got you say it's got a nice Sabbathy riff. You've got some good vocal melodies on there as well. Like I say, could have just been a bit shorter. That's all. But there's quite a few long tracks on this, so it's not as if it's in a particular rush.
No, that's it. He's he's writing.
I mean, we've got 52 minutes is the total time. But
no, a very solid second album. I mean, a lot of bands can die on their arse on this second album, you know. But I won't mention any.
Well. It goes to show the first album wasn't a fluke.
Exactly. Yes, he's carried it on. It's a solid. Just builds on what came before it. Doesn't chop up the fucking. Doesn't smash up the record and try to be something else. He's like, right, we've done this. Let's keep going in that direction. We'll just
see what we're capable of. How far can we push things? Yeah.
And it's a good. For the start of Blaze's proper solo career, I know it's not Blaze Bayley, it's Blaze, and it's a band, fucking yada yada, blah blah blah. But for him in the post-Maiden world, where he's got a good chance of being swept away and forgotten about, he's doing his fucking best to make sure that his music isn't forgotten.
Yeah, and if it is swept away, it's certainly not due to
some great fucking songs in these 2 albums.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, it certainly weren't due to lack of quality.
No, no, definitely not.
It's again, he's got a great band behind him. Again, we've built upon the foundations laid on Silicon Messiah. Yet again, I think Blaze is vindicated on this album.
Yeah,
I think again, it may well, I think Brave New World proved, that Bruce is the quintessential Iron Maiden frontman, and Blaze,
like you say, these
wasn't
two
quite right for the job, but this
doesn't deserve the shit he gets and still gets. I mean, fucking hell, them Maiden groups I've joined on Facebook.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fucking Blaze lovers on there, but some people are like, oh, it's fucking shit. Oh, it fucking ruined Maiden. It's like, oh, let's stop it. Just have a fucking open mind, you wanker. But it just gets abuse, and it's just no need for it.
Yeah,
because he's flying the flag for British metal at the minute.
Well, is that as well? This is a,
do you know what I mean? Maiden are doing their thing. They'll record an album every 6 years, fucking put it out, tour the world, go back to hibernation. Same with Priest, But Blaze is out there. He's fucking on he's earning the money to make a new album. He's fucking
he just did like a 3 album cycle. He did album, 100 shows straight in the studio, next album, 100 shows straight in the studio, next album, because he wanted to complete that trilogy he did. And it weren't even that big a gap between that, because the fact is, like, right, you've just locked out, literally just done an album a year, 3 years running. You deserve a break.
Yeah, he's like, no, bollocks.
Let's have another album. I mean, Lockdown probably greased the wheels on that one because he had time to do it. But excuse me, the production, you could always go, but you could always have more expensive and more thingy production. Again, the production thing fucking bores me.
I'm glad you said production, because we talked about how Blaze has been vindicated, but I think it helps that Andy Sneap knows what he's fucking doing. Yeah. Where Steve Harris, no disrespect to the guy, he doesn't belong behind a mixing desk.
No,
shouldn't be there. His places with that bit of wood in his hand, writing fucking songs.
Yeah,
now Blaze has got a proper producer who knows how to tweak fucking vocal sounds and how to warm the room and how to fucking pad it out and all that, so the voice works for you, not against you. Blaze sounds like $1 million fucking dollars.
Yeah,
and it's no coincidence that these 2 albums he's finding his feet, because he's got a producer going, come on, guys, let's work together on this, rather than, oh, I'm in here, you're in there, fucking do it.
Yeah, you sing the way I'm hearing it in my head. Yeah, but that ain't how
That ain't how I sing it. But do it anyway.
Yeah,
and Andy Sneap knows what he's doing. And
these 2 albums show the potential of what Steve Harris
originally saw. Yes.
Yeah, and
he just didn't have it in him. If Martin Birch was still producing the Maiden albums, don't get me wrong, I wasn't.
No, I think you're about to make a very good point. Carry on.
But I wasn't a fan of his sound. I never liked his production as sound, because I've got a certain strong view. But he knew what he was doing with regards to, funnily enough, sound. I didn't like the sound of his albums, but he knew what he was doing with regards to sound. He knew what had to be.
I think he would have known how to get the best out of Blaze. Let's make Blaze sound like Blaze at his best.
And it would have been a lot different.
And he would have gone, Steve, get out.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
He would have gone, right, shut the door. No one's right. It's just you and me now.
That's it. Yeah.
And he would have known how to have got the. Whilst I think Steve would have just gone, no, that's not how I'm hearing it. And
just shut the door on it, but no, a good producer knows his band, knows what he's doing, and there's not many of them about.
Yeah, and I think as well, his voice is definitely in his element on these 2 albums, but it just goes to show he can write songs on his own.
Oh yeah, fucking.
All right, he's got the band with him, but he can.
Yeah, but he's still coming up with his melodies with his
Dave Murray, and it wasn't all them that was writing those albums. No. He obviously did contribute to them.
Of course he did, no doubt. A lot of these riffs are probably vocal melodies that he's fucking thought up while he's on the bog.
Yeah,
and gone to the guitarist. Well, I've got it like that, and they've wrote a riff from it. That's his riff. He can't play it, but he's vocalised it. So yeah, he knows how to write a song.
Yeah. So
but no, I mean, this is a solid second album, good 7 out of 10 for me. Couple of stutters, but nothing that's like, ah. So no, he's going well at the moment, the old Blaze.
yeah, I'll give it a good solid 7 as well. Again, I think there's some hidden gems on this album. I think it's a good, solid, ambitious album. There's lots going on. There's lots of, you do go on a bit of a journey with it. I don't think there was a bit of a thing about the album that he goes completely off on one lyrically, and it's like he kind of loses the plot a bit and goes, it's like, well, it sounds like fucking. He had a go. He checked out. This is a pretty cool fucking subject. I'll write an album on it. And all right, well, what was he? Do you want another one about metal gods or Satan?
That's it. Or fucking dinosaurs or whatever, or fencing for the 50th time.
Flight. Let's do another song about flying.
Yeah.
So, it's not as if it's something. I mean, you're knocking one out of a Devin Townsend fucking doing a fucking album about quantum physics. So,
what's wrong with this?
Yeah. So, and again, what you're going to find going through Blaze's things, what doesn't quite work gets dropped, and what does work he sticks with and then moves on. Cool. And then, so when something doesn't quite work, it's like, it doesn't matter because he's trying something.
He's had a crack, and
and he's pretty good at going, that didn't quite work, we'll leave that and then move on. So, cool. I think we've pretty much covered it all.
We have, Looking forward to the next one.
Right, so thanks for watching, everyone. And next week we are catching back up with the Irons. And next week we are doing Brave New World. Was it a fluke? Is the chemistry still there?
Yeah.
Well,
we'll find out.
Finding out next week. And I think we'll leave it at that.
Indeed.
All right, folks, have a good week. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. Check out the playlist if you've missed any episodes. If this is your first episode, go back to the beginning. If you want to use it as an intro to listening to the album, or listen to the album and listen to us afterwards and shout at the screen about what you disagree with.
Give us one of them, or give us one of them, whatever you want to do.
Or one of them. It all goes in the tin. It's all good. And give us a subscribe or a share. Bloody hell, there's all these things. It makes a world of difference. So take care, all. Stay safe, and above all, stay sane. And we'll see you later.
Laters.